The air hung heavy, thick with the smell of decaying leaves and the promise of mischief. Fog, a ghostly shroud, clung to the sleepy town of Hollow Creek. A full moon, an unblinking eye in the inky sky, cast long, distorted shadows. It was Halloween night, a night where fear and fun walked hand in hand.
4 friends, Lisa, Sarah, Emily, and Jessica, their laughter echoing through the silent streets, reveled in the thrill of the night.
Dressed as a witch, a zombie, a vampire, and a pirate, they were the picture of youthful exuberance, oblivious to the darkness lurking around the corner.
Their laughter died down as they reached the edge of town, the familiar comfort of streetlights giving way to an oppressive darkness. An unsettling silence descended, broken only by the rustling of leaves under their feet.
Maybe we should turn back,
Emily whispered, a shiver running down her spine. But before anyone could reply, a figure emerged from the fog, its white face a grotesque mask in the darkness. He stood bathed in the pale moonlight, a terrifying apparition. His costume, a tattered, once vibrant purple and green suit, hung loosely on his skeletal frame. The white paint on his face was cracked and peeling, his grin a ghoulish caricature frozen in time.
Lost children?
His voice, a raspy whisper, sent shivers down their spines. He held out a gloved hand, his eyes 2 dark pits in his skull-like face.
Don't worry.
He chuckled, the sound like dry leaves crunching underfoot.
I know a place.
Fear, cold and paralyzing, gripped them. They wanted to run, but their feet felt like lead. The clown, sensing their fear, chuckled again, a chilling, mirthless sound.
Follow me.
He beckoned, his gloved hand gesturing towards the darkness. Hesitantly, they followed. The clown's presence was an oppressive weight. The church loomed ahead, its crumbling facade a menacing silhouette. It had been abandoned for decades, whispered to be haunted. But tonight, with the clown leading the way, its dark allure was inescapable. A blood-curdling scream shattered the silence. Lisa! The other girls screamed her name, their voices echoing unanswered in the darkness. Panic, raw and consuming, threatened to engulf them. They stumbled blindly, their hands reaching out, grasping only cold, empty air. The clown's laughter, cruel and mocking, reverberated around them, bouncing off the stone walls, each cackle a hammer blow to their sanity. He was toying with them, herding them like sheep to the slaughter.
4 little lambs lost in the dark. Let's see if you can find your way out.
A metallic clang resonated through the church, followed by the unmistakable rattle of chains. Something was moving in the darkness, something heavy and metallic. Their breaths came in short, panicked gasps. They were trapped, hunted in the dark, with nowhere to run and no way to fight back against the unseen terror that held them captive. The air grew thick with the metallic scent from before, now overpowering, suffocating. Fear, primal and instinctive, took hold.
A blinding pain exploded in Emily's head, then darkness.
Jessica and Sarah, huddled together, didn't even have time to scream before the heavy chains silenced them, their bodies crumpling to the cold stone floor.
The metallic scent, now unbearably strong, filled their senses, choking them, as darkness claimed them both.
Silence descended once more, heavy and absolute.
The only sound, the drip, drip, drip of a viscous liquid splattering on the stone floor, each drop a gruesome punctuation mark in the silence.
The clown, bathed in the pale moonlight filtering through a broken window, stood above the carnage, his painted grin a grotesque mockery of joy.
His laughter echoed through the empty church, a chilling sound that spoke of madness and something far more sinister.
He had played his game and he had won.
The girls, their costumes now stained crimson, lay lifeless, their youthful energy extinguished, their dreams forever silenced.
He leaned down, his cold, dead eyes staring into their vacant eyes, a grotesque parody of a lover's farewell.
"The show's over," he whispered, his voice raspy and cold, "but the fun's just begun."
News of the murders spread through Hollow Creek like wildfire, leaving a trail of shock and fear in its wake. The church, once a place of worship, became a morbid tourist attraction, drawing the curious and the morbid alike. But the clown, the harbinger of death, had vanished. Some whispered that he had simply melted back into the shadows, his gruesome task complete. Others, their voices hushed and fearful, spoke of a curse, an ancient evil that had claimed the church as its own. The police, baffled and under pressure, investigated every lead, but the killer, like a phantom, left no trace. The mystery of the Halloween night murders remained unsolved, a dark stain on the soul of Hollow Creek. As the weeks turned into months, the initial horror faded, replaced by a chilling unease. The townsfolk, once so eager to dismiss the whispers of hauntings and curses, now looked over their shoulders, their laughter tinged with nervousness. The old church, now officially deemed a crime scene, stood silent and abandoned, its doors boarded shut, its windows dark and lifeless. But beneath the veneer of normalcy, a palpable sense of dread lingered, a cold whisper that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared venture near. There were whispers of strange occurrences, unexplained noises, and fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures. People claimed to hear the faint sound of laughter echoing from the boarded-up building, a chilling reminder of the horror that had transpired within its walls. One night, a group of teenagers, emboldened by bravado and liquid courage, decided to spend the night in the abandoned church. They wanted to prove that the stories were nothing more than folklore, the whispers of a town gripped by fear. They would soon learn, however, that some legends are best left undisturbed. As the night wore on, the temperature dropped, and a thick fog rolled in, blanketing the church in an eerie silence. The teenagers, their initial bravado waning, huddled together for warmth, their eyes darting nervously in the flickering candlelight. A blood-curdling scream shattered the silence, followed by the sound of scrambling feet and panicked shouts. Then silence, heavy and absolute. The fog outside seemed to press in, as if the very walls of the church were holding their breath. The next morning, the rising sun revealed a scene eerily familiar to the horror of that Halloween night. The teenagers lay sprawled on the blood-stained floor, their eyes wide with terror, their faces frozen in silent screams. Their deaths, like those before them, were swift, brutal, and unexplainable. The town of Hollow Creek was never the same. The church, a constant reminder of the unspeakable evil that had claimed so many innocent lives, stood as a macabre monument to the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of their peaceful town.